Hi guys, it's ALCHEMY. How's everyone doing? Good, I hope. It's finally time to talk about Amouage material. I've been wearing my 10mm almost to the end, so I feel like I can now make an informed decision and try and tell you guys about this fragrance. Amouage recently released two new fragrances, companion fragrances, which they like to do, Boundless and Material. I have reviewed Boundless already if you care to go and watch that video. But today it's the turn of Material. This fragrance was made by Cecile Zaroukian, who also made Epic Woman for Amouage, one of my absolute favorites. I think it's really great. And the inspiration for them both is multi-layered, shall we say. It's kind of about the 80s. It's about a song called Tarzan Boy by an 80s band, and it's kind of jungly. That was more Boundless. And Renaud Samon, the new guy that has taken over Amouage, wanted to have his Tarzan fragrance have his Jane. So Tarzan needs his Jane, and when he started thinking about the 80s, tying everything in, he thought of Madonna, Material Girl. It also ties into rich materials, lavish materials in these perfumes. So that's kind of where we're at. The top notes of this fragrance are patchouli and ALCHEMY. If you've never smelled ALCHEMY before, it is a light resin that has kind of citrusy facets. I guess it would be a small element. I've never really smelled a fragrance where it's the main star. But anyway, let's move on. The heart notes are vanilla and benzoin. And the base notes are tonka bean, incense, gaiac wood, oud, labdanum and osmanthus. And the oud in here is Assam oud. This isn't an oudy fragrance. I actually personally asked Cecile in the launch event what kind of oud she used in this fragrance. She told me it was Assam oud, but it's not meant to be a main player. It's an accent, a space filler, something just to give a little bit more depth. So don't worry about that. This isn't an oud fragrance, it's actually an amber. So how does it smell? Let me tell you. So I've got it dry on my left arm. I'm gonna spray it wet on my right. I really like it. So what I'm going to say firstly about them as a pair, because they are companion fragrances, there is a family resemblance, a strong family resemblance. Renaud, the guy that now is the main guy for Amouage, gave both perfumers for each one of these new fragrances the same starting point, which was vanilla and gaiac wood. Real bourbon vanilla. Both of these fragrances are centered around that. That is the core. But what I will say is, while Boundless was a swirling mass of woody notes with the sweet notes behind, this fragrance is that flipped on its head. This has the woody notes behind and all of the sweet stuff pushed towards the forefront. The main player of this fragrance upon multiple wearings is Tonka, and that makes me very, very happy. If you like Tonka, I'm going to recommend this fragrance to you. The opening has all of the chewy, rich, smoky sweetness that Tonka brings to a fragrance, and I absolutely love it. I love Tonka in a perfume. It's such a nice addition to or alternative for vanilla, I think. The vanilla is obviously present because that's the main theme. However, the Tonka does overtake the vanilla in this. And because it's real vanilla, it lends its woodiness, it lends its smokiness. Because there are other resins and other things like that going on, this fragrance does lean towards an amber feeling. It's really nice, I really like it, and I will say the same thing as I said in my Boundless review. Amouage has gone in a new direction, and while this fragrance and the other one are very opulent, they have an entirely different texture that I've never experienced from Amouage before, and that is the amount of naturals that you can feel in them. The texture of the perfume has a crisp sharpness, even though there's a lot of typically smooth notes in here. So you're going to get a bunch of Tonka at first, and it's really beautiful. Pair that together with some resins, pair it together with some woods, and you are going into amber territory. There is enough woodiness in this perfume to slightly cut through the sweet notes, but this is all about the sweet, but it never becomes cloying, and that's why I like it. If this was a huge overdose of vanilla, you know, done in the incorrect way, I probably wouldn't have reviewed it or liked it as much, but because you're dealing with real vanilla, that's a multifaceted thing alone. Add in some Tonka, add in a little bit of smokiness, not too much. This isn't a dark fragrance, but there are definitely dark elements. And I really like it. I mean, I definitely prefer Boundless, I can safely say that. But this one, for an Amouage to do a vanilla like this, I really like it. I do have to point out, a friend of mine pointed out to me that this is very similar to a fragrance by Floriku, and it's called Sound of a Ricochet. I sprayed both of them and they're in a very similar space, so much so that I even checked to see the perfumer of Sound of a Ricochet to see if it was Cecile. It's not. But anyway, if you've tried that, you're gonna like this. If you like this, you're gonna like that. Just a reference point. For me, this fragrance is a weaver, and I know that sounds strange, but the way it wears and the way the woody notes play with the resins and the sweetness, it's like they weave like this. When you smell it, you do get multiple things happening, which is great. It is complex, which is true to Amouage's style. But essentially what you have is an amber perfume with an emphasis on the woody parts of amber and the resinous sweet parts of amber. There's no fluffiness, there's no powderiness to it, because some ambers can be extremely powdery. No powder here, definitely got a bite right through the middle. So it descends, Tonka, then kind of resinousness, and then woodiness. That's where we go. The other main playing notes here are a smokiness, and that could be coming from anywhere. That could be coming from oud, it could be coming from the incensey notes, and it also could be coming from the vanilla. So it's got a smoky feel without feeling like a campfire. This isn't a literal smoke, it is a woody smokiness that is very elegant with a lot of sweetness thrown over the top. The way it behaves is very explosive at first. It's a big fragrance when you first put it on, and then it does draw in. After about an hour when I've worn this, it stays for a long time. The vanilla really sticks, the sweet notes really stick onto you, but it wears as a gentle wafting fragrance. One of the downsides, and there's not many to this fragrance because I do really like it, one of the downsides is it's very top heavy. All of the excitement is at the beginning, and it does not peter out, that makes it sound negative, but it does end up becoming to me kind of like a, not single note vanilla, but the sweetness becomes kind of one noted, and it's a nice dry down, and you will smell sweet wafts for a very long time, at least 8, 9, 10 hours I get out of this one. But I prefer the opening. I prefer the opening of this one, and I prefer the dry down of the other. So the way I feel about them is opposite again. They behave, they're kind of like a mirror image. It's crisp, it's naturalistic feeling, it's got enough complexity to keep me guessing and making me want to respray the opening because the opening's lovely. But the dry down for me is the less interesting part while still being beautiful. It's not a negative. Anyway guys, that is my review of Material by Amouage. I recommend trying them both if you like vanilla. Amouage haven't really done a vanilla before, so it's a new thing. I think they're great. Really prefer Boundless though. I actually got complimented on that one. That's not why I like it, but it's a plus. And that's it. I'll see you guys soon for another review. I'm ALCHEMY trying to make the world smell better, one video at a time. See you guys soon. Goodbye.